All right. Hello, and welcome everyone to our little mini summit. So Tuck and I have joined forces, and we're going to be taking a look at a couple of aspects of really unlocking your personal potential. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. It's really a pleasure to be able to speak with all of you. So hello from Denmark, and hello from Canada. Welcome. And welcome to everyone that's here. And one of the amazing things I think about being a part of this BG5 community is that we are literally global. We have students from all over the world. So it's really an opportunity to connect, collaborate, work with, and learn from people all around the world. So welcome to everyone. So today we're going to have two little mini sessions. It's going to start with Tuck, and Tuck is going to talk about the 5 basic ways to reach your fullest potential in life and career and business, really taking a look at the dream of BG5. And then after Tuck is wrapped up, I will be talking about investing in your success with BG5 and how to profit by being you. And Melissa is here as well, and she's going to be supporting us in the background. So she'll be responding to the chats and helping us in the background as well. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Tuck. So Tuck, take it away.
I had this welcome. I'll say welcome to everybody. I had this thought that we're the 3 musketeers. That's what came to me. We are the 3 musketeers. I am actually, I'm delighted to be here, you all. I am, my name is Tuck Self, as you see here. I am recently certified as a foundation instructor. I went through my first course maybe this past year. Melissa was in class with me, and I had a spectacular time from the perspective of, number one, being able to share the material, but number two, I am forever a student of life, and to be able to go through this material myself as an instructor and experience everyone else in the class along with their individual dynamic designs always brings me nuggets of wisdom, which I am going to say, I trust that after you spend time with both myself and Karen today, you will walk away with insights, information, and nuggets of wisdom that you will also be able to put to use. I'm going to, in a minute, you all turn my, what do you call this, my video off so that we can focus on the slides, but I just wanted to say hi so that you can see me. Yes. So I'm going to turn my video off first, you all. Okay. And then I am going to put this slide on the screen specifically to start and introduce us to, I'm going to say, my portion, our portion of the summit, being not only the 5 ways, as Karen said, to reach your fullest potential in life, career, and business. It excites me to be able to share with you all today, along with Karen and Melissa, what is the dream of BG5, a very, very fascinating and fun methodology and system, so that you know where it is that we're going today and what it is that we're going to do. In one moment, I'm going to say a little bit more about myself. Karen, I want you to say a little bit more about yourself as well, you, Melissa, so that you guys from around the world know who it is talking to you, number one, but also number two, what is it about this beautiful BG5 system that has had each of us commit to living the information and practicing the information as a lifestyle. We're going to speak to the time of transition that we're in. It seems we do that a lot these days in the BG5 and human design world, but we are going through some transitioning times right now, times that have actually been foretold by different seers and ancient wisdom. So we'll speak to that. We'll speak to what's been going on in the world, what over these 18 months with the pandemic and what it has created, I'm going to say, as an opportunity for each of us in terms of business and career and how we apply the BG5 system to that. We will delightfully share with you how the BG5 Institute is offering a powerful solution to support you to navigate the changing times and the challenges, and even more importantly, to how does it give you the individualized information that you can embrace to be successful in your life and your career. And then we'll go through 5 ways. We're simply going to skim the surface of 5 ways today for how this system supports you to reach your fullest potential. And then I'm going to trust that you're so excited by that time that you will want to join the foundation classes with Melissa and myself, and we will show you how to do that, logistically, how that will work. So that's what we're covering today. I thought it would be nice if we each said a little bit about who we are. And the easiest thing for me to say is that my name is Tuck, and that I am passionate about life. I am a personal growth enthusiast. I am committed to doing what I love and loving what I do and supporting the people around me. I love the word plurking, play while you work, to support people to do work that they love, doing what their natural gifts inspire, and to make a contribution, doing that, and to prosper, like really make money and to prosper bounteously in the process. I am what we call in this system an express builder. I was introduced to the human energy design system maybe some 15 plus years ago, and got really, really excited about the freedom within myself that it created, so much so that I have shared it over these years with anyone courageous enough to step within 5 feet of my energy field. So back in 2017, when I received an email from the BG5 Institute, it was a no-brainer for me to dive into applying that system, the system of human design transformational assessment tool, to career and business, and to dive into becoming a BG5 OC16 certified consultant, profit potential coach, and an instructor here with the BG5 Foundation. All of that, y'all, has been under the tutelage of the illustrious Karen Sherwood. And to be able to now have a language for this great system and methodology that's been my experience, where I can talk to people around the world. I can talk to people in an everyday life kind of scenario, as well as a business scenario. And that is my love for being here and being able and honored, I'm going to say, to share this information with you. So I don't stop talking for a moment, Karen, and ask you to share a little about you and Melissa as well before I go into the informational part of our webinar.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Tuck. Well, I love BG5, and I have been teaching this for I don't know how many years now, but when I started, it was one of those things that when I first saw BG5, as Tuck was saying, it was a no-brainer. I had such a strong gut response to start BG5. I could not do it. And I have been living, eating, breathing it ever since. And I've helped design all of the courses for the BG5 Business Institute. And one of Ra's dreams was to really be able to present this information in a way that could affect and make a difference for the everyday person. One of the things that he said is not only 4% of the population can be transformed, and everyone else has to make a living. And so being able to put together the information with also the language, which is one of the things that you'll be seeing and exploring today as well, with a language that is more conducive to bringing it to the business community. And being able to use it in business and career has been really just my honor and my pleasure. And I feel very humbled to be able to work with this information in this way. So we started with the BG5 certification course. We then designed the foundation course to lead into it. And then we've been in the process of developing advanced certifications as well. So we have cycles, we have the profit potential coaching certification. We also have OC16, which is working with large groups. Eventually, we will also incorporate the 4 transformations as well. So it has been an honor and a pleasure being I'm one of the directors, so with Linda Bunnell, and really being the director of the educational development and training. I have the opportunity to work with all of the instructors, train all of the instructors, as well as develop the courses. And it's been like I said, my absolute honor and pleasure. And it is my honor and pleasure to speak with all of you today as well. Thank you, Tuck.
Ooh, yeah. Thank you. Melissa.
Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I've been on a journey for the last 15 years. I was in a pretty trying marriage, and when I came out of that, I had a lot of self-discovery to do and really figure out who I was. And when I came across the human design, it really gave me so much clarity, because I really understood the things that weren't working for me and why I had created, how things that were struggles in my life, why it was, because everything seems to be in the chart. And I really just started having a roadmap for how to change and how to align myself with who I naturally was. And it really gave me a lot of permission to do things that I hadn't done, and also the clarity of how I had gotten to the place where I was. And it has really been a journey for me to get back into my natural design, figure out what I'm here to do and here to offer. And, part of my incarnation cross and part of my design is from the Queen Gate and about education. And both of my parents are teachers, and I was groomed a lot my whole life to, be a teacher. And that just didn't resonate with me. But now that I've found the human design, I really see how teaching really is where I like to be, but just not in a classroom, in a school setting, in the traditional sense. So this has really empowered me to take a different role in my business. I use a lot of the human design with my clients to help them to understand the role they should have in their business. And I'm just continuing on, excited to take every course to be able to step in and make a bigger impact. And it's just so fascinating. One of the things that is so consistently said to me when I'm working with my clients and doing a reading for them and helping them in their business or whatever it is, their relationships, is the astounding comment that this is so accurate. And how did you know that? So I really love this tool, and being here with you, Tuck, and teaching with you, and just under the guidance of Karen, it's just really been life-changing. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. My face hurts from smiling. It is delightful to hear both of your words. I'll say to you, Karen Sherwood, you are the BG5 Institute. To me, your commitment to this great work has inspired me, and it's been an honor to, I can say, play and study with you. And Melissa, I am really, really grateful to have you as a part of not only this webinar today, but our foundation courses that are up and coming. Now, as you guys will learn a little bit later on, we are builder types. So we're going to move the energy along. And at any point in time, Karen and or Melissa, open dialogue, you have something to contribute, I'm going to pause and ask you to what you have to add. And please intervene at any time, given I say something that's off track and or you have something to add. I love open dialogue as a builder. So we're going to start with a panned out broad world view. This is a slide that seen a lot in the BG5 world, and it is a true statement that we are in right now, truly a major time of transition. And I say that BG5 is miraculously and synchronistically right here and available for each of us for transitioning through these changing times. As you can see here on the left, we have been for quite some time now, 400 years or so, since 1615, you all operating in a background frequency that has been called the era of planning. And you can see here also that it's coming to an end in 2027. Now that is short of, what are we, underneath 7 years from now? And all you have to do is look out the door, look out your window, and you're able to see the effects that are occurring based on this time of transitioning, all of the changes that we're experiencing in this world today. I believe I said it earlier. To me, they've been foretold not only by forecasters and seers and ancient wisdoms, but also, as Karen has mentioned, the owner and the founder, Ra Uru Hu, said years ago that this system, it is, and it was for the children, but also for future generations, and specifically here to support us through these changing times as we usher in this new era. So we've been operating, if you think about it, our focus has been on these past 400 years on y'all building institutions, organizations, corporations, healthcare. Think of those: healthcare, education, economic, political, social. And what we've been doing is giving our power over to these external authorities. So they're these systems of power that we hold as trusted authorities who know better for us than we know for ourselves. That's number one. Number two, these institutions and corporations themselves have been built on what we call bargains, collective agreements and bargains, like a trade. I'm going to do this for you, you do this for me. When I go to work for you, this is what I'm going to do. Here's what I expect to get in compensation. So again, all about the bargain. Adding to that, at least it's the way I went to work years ago, this focus and concentration on honing specific skills, developing certain skills so that I could be materially successful and climb the corporate ladder of success that was hierarchical, and to do it competitively and to do it alone so that I could be the best, at the top of my game, at the top of the ladder. And many times people do that when they're doing something that their heart really isn't in doing. I don't know if it was Donna Summer, I can't remember. The song "Working Hard for the Money" is a really beautiful statement for many, many people in this era. Where we're moving, delightfully so, I'm one of these people that loves happy endings. We're moving into an age called the age of individuality, which means that the age is going to be about you. It's going to be about you and what makes your heart sing, what empowers you, what inspires your innocence, what inspires the abundance of your spirit, so that you take leaps of faith with yourself, aligning with your unique gifts and skills and talents, where there is a sense of trust in yourself, trust in what comes thundering out of your heart, so that you do what you love to do and you choose how you're making your contribution in that process, trusting yourself and prospering, I'm going to say, in the process. And as each of us individually work in ways that where we're honoring ourselves, we're actually going to begin to break down barriers and attract the right people, the right fractals, the right groups that we can bond with and partner and cooperate with. And I actually believe we'll be creating new ways of doing business that just will absolutely gobsmack us, but most importantly, allow us to do what we love and prosper in that process. So I, for one, am thankful for these times, thankful for this beautiful system that we have access to, that will move us through these transitioning times. Is there anything, Karen, with your longevity in this work that you would like to add to what I said there?
Yeah, and really beautifully explained, Tuck. And I think, given the situation of where the world is right now, just speaking for myself personally, knowing this information, so knowing BG5, knowing human design, knowing this transition between the era of planning and the era of the individual has made all the difference for me. Because I don't have to panic. I don't have to worry about what's happening. This is what it looks like when there is a major change in the background frequency that's happening. So things look like they're falling apart. Things look like, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of chaos and confusion. That's what it looks like when you transition to something new. And so in knowing this information and specifically what Tuck just talked about has really personally given me grounding in everything that is happening, knowing that it is that is all happening as it should. And that's
Mhm.
part of what change brings. And so knowing this gives me a peace of mind, a confidence, and a knowing that things will be okay on the other side as long as I trust myself and my own decision making strategy, I'll be fine. And so it's really allowed me to look beyond sort of the chaos of it and confusion that we've been in, especially over this past year with the pandemic and everything else that has been happening in the world. And so I think it's one of the biggest gifts of this system is being able to know that when you follow your decision making strategy, when you know who you are, when you know this transition is happening, it in a sense it keeps you safe. It also keeps you sane as well.
Thank you so much for that. As you're talking, I'm reminded of my brother. He says, Chuck, how can you be so calm, in this change, this time we're going through? And I'll just say, come to class. Come to class and you'll learn. Grab your design and we'll talk about it. So I
Exactly.
love that piece about the settling in and the grounding that in knowing that this has been put in place for us. That I say we're on sacred time. That's what I say. We're on sacred time. Yeah. So also with what's been going on, I don't know, past 18 months, 2020, 2021, I have been experiencing, uh, yes, the same challenges that have been present in the working world, but also a whole set of new, bigger, and yet differing challenges that were not here before. So here's yet another reminder of the power and the value of what's offered here at the BG5 Institute. When I look at what I and most people do to spend the lion's share of my days doing, to really ask myself and the other, are we doing what we love? Are we passionate about how we're serving? A couple of years ago, even though it's in this slide, I actually did a project where I too looked up the Gallup poll survey and was informed that at that time as well, 70% of the people in the workforce were not engaged. They were not connected psychologically, emotionally, mentally connected to who it is that they were or what it was that they were doing in their careers. And they really were. They had this longing to be a part of something bigger than who they were individually. And so I imagine that that's true for individuals today as well, specifically that people are out of work. Some are out of work, some are seeking work, and we've been given a beautiful, beautiful opportunity of this thing called time to reflect on what it is that we want to do. So I make up people are looking to be a part of something, to do work that they love versus doing it simply for the money. I have the thought we've had an opportunity to get how we're struggling to pay the bills, to do that differently as well, and to also not settle for work where our talents and gifts possibly may be being underutilized. So the out of work, the overworked, the underutilized, I make up, people are looking for solutions and alternatives to being able to do what they love. So what if you could pull back the veil to see how you are uniquely designed to achieve your highest potential, which, let's see if what I did there, that's the name of our webinar, you all. I'll say welcome to BG5 and the BG5 Institute. And for those of you who might not be familiar, as Karen has said, the focus here is on career and business, the career and business aspect of the human energy design system, and to know that we are the official source for the career and business application of that system, human design. And again, as Karen said, that it is here that she certifies consultants and coaches to share this information to support you in reaching your fullest and your highest potential in your work and in your career. Given that you are new to the system and to the words and to BG5, to this leading edge tool and methodology in general, think of it like the tools that you see in the business world. In the business world, there are personal assessment methodologies, Myers-Briggs, Strength Finders. The one that I took was DISC. You can relate this system to those types of personality assessment tools, but there's also a little add. You know, there are tools out there today that look at your genetic identity and your genotype. This is similar. It's almost like a cross between the two of those. And one of the things that we love that makes this system, I'll say one of the many things that makes this system unique, is that the information, Melissa was referring to the accuracy of the information. The information, the foundation of what comes from the system is based on the answers to 3 questions that you will answer. And your answers never change because the answers are your birth time, your birth date, and the birth location. What this system is not based on is your mood and going and taking a test where there are subjective questions, and depending on where you are, your answers are going to fluctuate every time you take that assessment. As Melissa said, this is the most accurate, practical, supportive, and empowering information that we have found to date for our own lives and to be able to share with our friends and our clients. So the dream of BG5, as you see here, is to support individuals to reach their full potential, to align you to your authentic work, to have you understand what your natural, inherent gifts, skills, and talents inspire you to do, so that you have the tools that allow you to bring fully all of who you are forward into the world, expressing yourself authentically. And I'm going to say, especially in these times. So our 2 setups, the changing times, this major transition that Karen was speaking to as well, and the dynamics that have been created, I'll say, by the pandemic and the world at large over these past 18 or so months. What we have is a situation that allows us to pose a question to you. And I love possibility questions. I love what if questions. And so the question is, what if you were given a personalized map that literally showed you how you personally were designed to operate, not only in your life, but in your career, daily, and in these changing times? And what if this map truly did align you to the work that you've come here to do what your natural gifts inspire you to do, so much so that it does connect you physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually to who you are. And it did allow you to feel as if you were a part of something bigger than who you are individually. I know I love being in class with people from around the world. And so what if this allowed you to live a fulfilling life, have a fulfilling career, where you're working because you love what you do, not only that you're trying to survive. And the icing on the cake is you get to be innovative, you get to be creative, you get to expand your edges to reach and experience yourself reaching your fullest potential. And then finally, what if this map, which you will see revealed 16 basic ways, 16 success codes, you'll hear about 5 of those today, that allowed you to reach your fullest potential so that you could experience success and satisfaction and peace and delight in your life and in your career and in your business. This is where I love to have a drum roll and say, welcome to BG5, what I really do believe is the most powerful solution for our time, particularly in the transition that we're going through. I said earlier, I believe we're on sacred time, and all of what Karen said about the grounding for these times is true, in that I believe we're designed to be here today, literally today here, where we get to share information with you. You get to receive the information from us about this beautiful proprietary system that's going to support you to individuate as we move in to this new era, to know yourself, to empower yourself, where you have the information to be your own authority versus giving your power to the external authorities, as we saw on that previous slide in the previous era. So I'll say again, welcome to the solution of BG5, where you are going to be able to look at your own career design, receive information on your unique gifts, skills, talents, and abilities to find work in a way that you can serve and contribute, doing what you love, making a difference, and again, not only for the money. I have the thought everybody here, by this time of our lives knows that we each have come here with a unique gift, skill, and talent that's ours alone to contribute. And wouldn't it be empowering to have that information for yourself? And so if you could have a way to connect again, spiritually, emotionally, physically, if you could tap into that abundance of your spirit, if you could partner with people in the way that Karen and Melissa and I get to partner to create something new, innovative, and mutative, I, as Karen said, am honored to be here and to have a role in these changing times, and that I believe each of us has a role in how we're moving forward. We have a role in these changing times, and we are sharing with you this beautiful solution of BG5, which, from what I can tell, and I have looked far and wide, human design and BG5, from what I can see, are two of the only systems that I have seen that literally do and are available to move us forward. So before I go into our 5 ways, which takes us into the, I'm going to say, meat and potatoes of what we're going to share, I'd love it, Karen, if you and or Melissa have anything to add to what I've said so far.
Is there anything, Miss Melissa, you would like to add?
I just really like the way that you put it all together and just how you distinguish the difference between this system and other systems, because I find the application of this to be so much more impactful. And as you said, when you're taking a lot of the other profiling type of psychological testing, it does vary, it does change, and it also, goes to what you've done in your life. Whereas this system really helps you to understand what's missing and how to shift to get a different result so that you're more in alignment. If we really knew what we were made for and how we were designed to operate in the world, if everyone understood that, I think that, things would be very different. So I do think it sets it apart, where it's not about your experience, your trauma, your societal situations. It's really unique as to who you really are from the core, and then specifically what to do about it to get the results and live to your potential. So that's what I love about this system, and I like the way that you put that together for everybody.
Thank you. How about you, Karen? Anything to add?
I absolutely agree with what Melissa just said. This is, I've spent thousands of dollars trying to fix myself before I came across BG5 and human design. I always thought that there was something wrong with me and something that I needed to fix. I have done every personal assessment tool out there. I've studied them, I've, used them. And this is the first system that showed me that there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to change. I am perfect the way that I am. And it's just understanding how to utilize those skills, those gifts, those talents, and it really allowed me to relax into just being me. And when I work with students and when I work with clients, I think one of the biggest gifts in giving my students and my clients is the gift of giving people permission to simply be themselves. And I love what Melissa said about, because this has been a dream of mine for a long time, along with the dream of BG5 is what if we had a world where everyone was doing what they love and loving what they do? What if everyone was really given the space and the permission to live their fullest potential? And as Melissa was saying, this is the first and only system that I know, and I've looked at a lot of them, believe me. This is the only system for me personally that really taps into that level of uniqueness. Every other system is based on sort of this mental perception of who you think you are by answering a bunch of questions. And as Tuck said, there's only 3 questions, and those 3 questions don't change, right? So it is not subjective based on your mood and everything else. It really is, in a sense, if we're taking a look at I would say this is much more scientific than any other system out there because it's based on actual data versus what people think they are. And people are not very accurate at judging themselves and answering questions correctly, based on who they are, because they think, oh, well, this is, based on your mood or why you're taking that particular assessment. You may answer them in different ways. I always hate answering those questions because it's like, well, it depends on the situation. It depends on this. It depends on that. So it becomes really complex. And I think one of the reasons why it's so accurate is because it is only based on 3 pieces of data that do not change. And I think that's what makes it so brilliant. And I think we're so lucky to be alive in this time that we can, see things unfolding, and really gives us the opportunity to really take a look at who are we and awaken ourselves to our true brilliance. So really through the courses, through the coaching, through working with clients, again, it's really getting that permission just to be yourself. And being yourself is enough.
I feel like I wish I had 2001 Space Odyssey music to come in. That was quite inspiring. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was awesome. And that's a couple times, y'all, that I've heard the word permission to be oneself, which is really, really beautiful. So thank you. I get excited hearing your commitment and excitement to not just the work, but to sharing it with people, for that sense of freedom and having them open up to the authenticity of who they are as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Here are the 5 basic ways, you all, 5 out of the 16 success codes that are part of the BG5 methodology for reaching your fullest potential. We're going to focus on 5 of them today, and literally we are simply touching the surface of those 5. These 5 ways plus the remaining codes are elaborated on in our foundation courses, as well as the BG5 certification course that Karen's teaching, and she'll be doing her webinar after this one. Here today, again, I'm trusting that we're going to give you an insight into how you are uniquely and specifically designed with your own personal potential for success, so that you can get a look at, get a feel for what those 16 success codes are, what they look like. Here they are at a glance. In the foundation course, know that we go through the ones that you see here that are in dark blue. given you were to implement those, given that you implement the 5 that we talked to you about today, they alone will begin to align your life, align you to the right work in the right way. In semester 2 of our foundation course, we hit on 13, 14, and 15 down here, those codes. And then when you join the BG5 certification with Karen, you round out the rest of those success tools. The other thing to acknowledge the BG5 Institute and Karen for is how they have put this information together. It is presented to you piece by piece, layer by layer, that allows you to learn, practice, integrate, and then embody this great work so that you can experience not only your personal empowerment, but personal success in your business. Given you were to choose to have an overview and or a full analysis, just so you know, you see that here, you'll see what information will be delivered to you based on what's bracketed. So for a moment, Karen, let's get everybody else involved and discover who's here with us today, what their types are. Ooh, there's your survey. Would you like to speak to the survey, Karen, since you have the control?
Sure. You'll notice that there's 2 questions here. The first one is, what is your career type? So go ahead and select which is your career type. So classic builders are the generators in human design terms. We have the express builders, which are the manifesting generators in human design terms. We have the advisors, which are the projectors in human design terms. We have the innovator, which is the manifester in human design terms. We have the evaluator, which is the reflector. And we also have, if you're not quite sure, if you're new and you're not familiar with what your design is, there's also I don't know. So one of the things that you'll see right off the bat is that the language is a bit different, so that, again, it is more accessible to a broader audience. Now, you'll also see another question: how much experience do you have with BG5 and human design? So you may have very, very little. You may be brand new and you're just checking it out and kind of figuring out what it's all about. You may have dived in, you may have studied, but it's really only self-study. You haven't taken any official classes, but you've been looking things up on the internet and doing self-study courses, maybe purchasing some things from Jovian, but you haven't taken an official course. And then there is taken at least one official either BG5 or human design course. And then I can see there's several of you that are currently studying to be a BG5 consultant or a human design analyst. And it looks like I'm missing the last one. And the last one is that you are a BG5 consultant or a human design analyst. That's the last one, but for some reason I don't see it here. So there should have been that one there. and if that's the case, you can just put it under currently studying. Beautiful. So we'll give you just one more moment to fill it out. Great.
Quite a few advisors. That's exciting.
Yeah, amazing. All right, so let me just see. I'm going to end the polling and share the results. Wow. So we have quite a few advisors. I want to say something specifically for the advisors. One of the things that I have found with BG5 is that BG5 is really designed for advisors as well, in taking the leadership role that you are really designed for moving forward into the future. There is kind of a shift in the dynamics, and knowing as an advisor how to understand others, how to work within a business, how to be what we call an alpha. The alpha is the leader, the person that is literally there to lead and guide the process. This is really powerful for the advisors. We have quite a few express builders as well. We have a few classic builders. We have an innovator, welcome, and we have a couple of you that don't know. Now, if you don't know what your career type is, you can go to the BG5 Business Institute website, and you can you can get your chart right there. So you can get a free chart and you can get a free report to find out what your career type is all about. And it looks like we have quite a few of you that have either self-study or have taken one official BG5 or human design course. We have several of you here that are currently studying. You may also be a BG5 consultant or a human design analyst. And there's a few of you here that are really brand new, that you know very little. So really perfect. Thank you so much. It's really cool to see sort of where everyone falls, and you can see that who we have here is all across the board. And so we're really looking to sort of address all of those things and being able to see what's possible and taking a look at this information. Really beautiful. Thank you, Tuck.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you, Karen. Do I need to hit?
I think
remove it, or
did I remove it? I think I did.
Okay, let me go. Okay. All right, I'm going to pan back here quickly before we move forward specifically into each of the 5 ways, now that we know people's experience and or their types, to simply say we're going to look at all 5 of these ways: the career type, how you best utilize your energy. We're going to look at the personal interaction style, which has a lot to do with your nonverbal energy, and how to be present to that in order to eliminate friction, to open up the flow of communication and interaction. You'll hear us say it many, many, many times. Way 3 decision-making strategy is key to unlocking all of your design. And here, it's about making choices that you can trust, knowing what's best for you. We'll look briefly at your defined functions, your core strengths, what you can rely on, and we'll also look at where you get stuck, what's in the way of that, what are the shadows and the distractions in your design. And so starting with the basic way, number 1, your career type, how best to express yourself in the world. Your career type does reveal the easiest, and don't we all want to have a sense of ease in life, and most natural way that you're designed to apply your energy and share your true gifts with the world. Again, knowing how you're uniquely designed to operate. I believe both Melissa and Karen have said much to this. We each are born uniquely with our own gifts, skills, and talents, to know what those are. And I believe, as you said, Karen, to actually know how to utilize those is huge, particularly in a world where many of us are raised to be homogenized and to focus on competition. We're designed to work in unique and specific ways. We're actually designed to work in environments differently, like based on what environment you're in, you may work differently. And how we interact with one another based on our career types is different. What we're not designed to do, again, is to, I'm going to say in quotes, be like Mike, to operate in homogenized ways, doing what we need to do to survive, to get by. So your career type is going to give you what you need to live authentically and prosper in a way that allows you to feel like you're making that contribution, serving, and making money, profiting in a simplistic way. This one way alone, know that if you engage with this one, it will begin to shift and change your life. It will change and shift the results of your life. Knowing how you are designed as a career type can undo years of conditioning, years of wondering whether or not you were in that right work. Were you really doing everything that you came here to do? That sense of what's missing. What was missing was that you didn't have your career type. And so now you do, and or you have a way to. So to introduce you to the different career types that came up on the survey a moment ago, here are the 4 foundational career types. You can see the color here. The yellow 8% are the innovators. Your 8% of the population that is designed to do just that. Innovate, initiate, impact, get things started, get them up and running. You're actually designed to utilize your energy this way. And you are the only type at 8% that is designed to function this way, which that was one of the first things I found to be fascinating as a coach, in that 92%, assuming that I had correctly, of us have been conditioned to behave like innovators, and yet that's not the type of who we are. So special 8% innovators designed to get things up and running. Then we have the builders, like the three of us. We have the express and classic builders. We're designed, as it says here, to move the energy along. We bring vitality and creativity and this creative life force energy to ourselves and others and the world. We're here to do just what the word says, build and generate. And you can see when you look at the percentage, we make up a lot, 70% of the population. So I say we rule the world, or better yet, our energy is going to affect the world. So it's going to be important that we are engaging in alignment with our career type. What you'll learn in the foundation classes is that the classic builder is like the tortoise, that would be a turtle, who rhythmically and step by step moves to the finish line and gets there. The express builder is more like the hare, moving very quickly and efficiently to the finish line, both getting to the finish line. However, how they get there is going to be different. We have our advisors, Karen spoke to that a moment ago, who are here to guide the process based on being recognized and invited. You know, knowing that is your gift, recognition, and that you have this uncanny capacity as a gifted organizer to see efficiently and effectively how energy is best moved and how to maximize those resources. And there is, I do see this with advisors, that you see things that the rest of us happen to miss at times. Then we have, and you are 21% of the population, the green section there. The evaluators, that tiny little sliver of blue, 1%, makes you very, very, very extraordinary and rare. You're designed to tell us how our world, our environments, our communities are going or not, and you do it with your gift of objectivity. And that when we look at the career design, you see that there functions, 9 functions. I say the geometric shapes, you'll see them in a minute. And as an evaluator, all of yours are open. So you are open to the outside world. You're like the canary in the coal mine, who based on that is sampling and reflecting and evaluating the quality of the environment. So here's your takeaway. Before I ask the other two to chime in, when you don't know your career type and when you're not working in alignment with that, it is a huge possibility that you're not going to see the results that you're working really, really hard for. I make up that you'll experience effort and struggle, exhaustion, confusion, overwhelm, and maybe even a little anger that you're not getting where you want to go based on your hard work, or that you've chained, strapped yourself, settled yourself into a job or work for material possessions where you really do feel like you've settled in order to survive. That sounds so bleak. Remember, happy ending to the story. When you're living in alignment with your career design, you have the information to utilize. You can create and experience your life with, I'm going to say, joy and prosperity versus the effort and struggle. And the words that you'll hear us say in terms of your type, you'll experience peace, satisfaction, success, and delight in how you work and in how you live. And so, Karen, I know you have a beautiful way of talking to the image that it's the bottom of the page. So I'm going to ask you if you'll talk about your ladybug image before we moved away too.
Sure, sure. When I first put this together and I looked at this image, I thought it looked like a ladybug. You have sort of the head, which are the advisors. You have the express builders and the classic builders that are like the wings. You have the innovator that is like the body, and you have the evaluator, which is like the antenna. So it's the innovator that really, in a sense, as the body of the ladybug gets things up and running. It's the express builder and the classic builder that are the wings that give it the energy to move along. It's the advisor that is the eyes and the head, being able to see which direction to move the energy. And it's the evaluator that's like the antenna that can see beyond what's right in front of them to really be able to sense what's all around you. And so I just thought that this is a fun
Mhm.
analogy in explaining, in a sense, how these types are designed to work together. And again, when all of this is working together, just like I said earlier, what if everyone is doing what they love, loving what they're doing, and interacting correctly according to their design, right? There's so much power here. So thank you, Tech.
Mhm. I love the word power. So much power here. Thank you. Basic way number two, you all, the personal interaction style. How do you best interact with other people? Is going to reveal how to eliminate friction and communicate clearly and effectively, personally and professionally. I don't know about you all, but years back in the corporate world, I used to hear this a lot. 93% of how we express ourselves, interact with other people, is actually unconscious. You know, the other percent comes sometimes in our tonality and our facial expressions, but much of us is a nonverbal communication. So to the extent that we're aligned, that we understand what our personal interaction style is, will create clear communication and an ease in that communication. Because when you are communicating in alignment with your personal interaction style, your message is clear, people hear you, you're understood, the resistance is removed. You can think of it as trying to find the station on the radio dial. You dial right in and the message is clear. What's really going to be important is that you feel that as an output in your external world when you're in alignment. Things in your world feel like an ease and a flow is happening, and excitedly so, you'll attract the people, events, and circumstances that you're designed to attract. When you're not in alignment with that personal interaction style and you're not aware of your nonverbal frequency and how distorted it is, what you'll get to know is that your message is not clear. You will feel this in your external world, and that people are not going to understand you. They're not going to get you. They're going to resist you. Again, thinking about the dial on the radio, when you can't find the station, your communication is going to sound like ongoing static. Your external world is going to feel staticky, confusing, chaotic, and know this, you will not attract the right people, events, and circumstances into your life when you're out of alignment with your personal interaction style. And even if you did, you would not be available to see it. I want to say if it slapped you upside the head, because you're steeped in static. So personal interaction style is going to be key. Note that each career type has its own personal interaction style. You can see here, we've put the information across the bottom as an image and a graphic for you, starting with the innovators here over to the left. Innovators, you have a frequency and a nonverbal energy that's closed, protective, sometimes repelling and pushing outward. Therefore, it's challenging for others to get in. Remember, you're here to impact. You're here to get things started. Therefore, based on your closed and protective, and I'll say sometimes pushing out energy, your personal interaction style is to inform first and then act. What this is going to do for you is minimize that resistance to any impact, minimize any resistance to your flow, which is going to feel really good, because otherwise having your flow interrupted will feel resistant and will potentially bring up anger in you. However, when you inform before you act, it also allows others to get what you're up to. It invites their support and it fosters this environment within you that brings peace and freedom and puts that in the environment around you as well. So that's you as an innovator. For builders, the three of us, we have a frequency that's open and enveloping. I hope you can tell. We're gifted with energy, again, that moves things along. So for us to avoid overcommitting that energy, saying yes to what's not correct, which is going to bring a large sense of frustration, our personal interaction style is to respond before engaging, wait and respond before engaging. so that our energy is open and available in this waiting, and we naturally attract what's right for us, and we naturally see it and are able to say yes to it. So that's us as builders. Advisors here, the green, you have a frequency and nonverbal presence that's focused and absorbing. Remember, your gift is in recognizing the talents and the skills of others and guiding those others. However, for those others to be receptive to what you have to share and to your guidance, and for you to feel fulfilled in that process. Your personal interaction style is to wait to be recognized and invited. When you do, you're naturally going to bring the people in that recognize you and your skills. Given you don't wait to be recognized and invited, and you share your insights before waiting, know that you may experience bitterness in yourself. Others may actually not receive you and feel interfered with. So waiting to be recognized and invited is really, really key for your success and recognition. And then finally, the blue sampling over here, these are our evaluators with sampling and resistant nonverbal presence. The word is like Teflon, nonstick Teflon. Evaluators, remember, have the gift of objectivity. And so your presence is reflecting the environment as a whole. You are best when you're at the center of a group, at the heart of a business or a community where you can freely move around and sample and reflect things. So for you to avoid disappointment, your personal interaction style is to wait and assess. Remember, you got all open functions and they're taking in energy. So to wait and assess and reflect and discuss before you engage is going to remove that resistance. And that's what we're looking to do again, you all, is to remove any resistance in the communication. So knowing your personal interaction style and understanding your nonverbal energy is what is key here. Any ad for you, Karen? Karen.
No, beautifully said, Tuck.
Okay. Melissa, you also feel free to hop in, given you have something to add.
You're very thorough, Chuck. Very easy to understand. It's great listening to you.
Thank you. We're going to go into basic way number 3, y'all. This is a big deal. This is your decision-making strategy, knowing your best process for making decisions in life. I don't know what just fell, but that scared me. You know, the one thing that I have discovered I have control over in my life is making choices. So I go, doesn't it make sense then to make choices in alignment with who I am? Decision-making strategy is the one key that you will hear Karen, me, Melissa come back to over and over again in the BG5 world. And that really, when you implement this one basic way, you will change your life. You will unlock the power. That was the word Karen used, the power in your entire design. What you want to be really careful of is this, and you'll hear us say this a lot. Karen alluded to this moments ago. We have been trained in our life, you all, to make choices from our minds, and the one place that we do not want to make decisions from is our mind, contrary to what our mamas and the authorities outside of us encouraged and educated us to do. Our minds are good at observing, taking in information, looking at all sides. But if you make a decision from your mind, what you'll find is it's going to second guess your unique decision-making strategy and pull you off track. And it's going to do that out of fear. I think Karen mentioned fear earlier as well. Fear of past experiences, that you don't repeat them. Fear of future goals, making sure you get to where you want to go. It's going to have you act impulsively and emotionally, submit to peer pressure while you're trying to fit in, overcompensate, again, succumb to peer pressure to prove yourself, get under pressure and in a hurry to get something done because we're afraid of the unknown or tomorrow or the past or the future. So when we get to basic way 5 in a minute, you're going to learn that the possibility of making the decisions from your mind, making them from fear, making them from conditioning, that's where you'll find them. And we're going to show you your way out. But for now, to simply remember Decision-making strategy is not making the decision from your mind, it's making it from your true personal decision-making strategy. Now we're going to hold back a couple of secrets here in terms of your decision-making strategy with a quick little review. Basic way one was your career type: innovator, builder, advisor, evaluator, where you bring your unique way of expressing your gift to the world. Basic way two, as a function of that, gave you information as to your nonverbal presence, a specific frequency, and a personal interaction style and way for you to interact. So I've put those across the bottom for your reference. Innovators, remember, inform before you act because of your closed and repelling aura. Builders, with your open and enveloping energy, wait to respond to what your energy is available for. Advisors, with your focused and absorbing energy, waiting to be recognized, and evaluators, waiting and sampling before reflecting the environment. When it comes to the decision-making strategy, way three, each of these career types also has unique different decision-making strategies and processes depending on how your design is configured. We go deeply into that, y'all, in the foundation courses. Karen will even take you deeper in the BG5 certification courses and how to share that with others. But for here to know that you as an innovator, when you are aligning with your strategy, you're going to impact in a healthy way. It's going to bring you peace. However, if you do what the previous slide did and you get into your head, you're going to create resistance. If you don't inform first, you ultimately may create anger for yourself. So you have three different decision-making strategies. What you'll learn is you're either coming from your emotions, it's all about your emotions, your instinctive knowing, or your willful determination. So you have three processes and ways. Builders, when you're in alignment, flowing along, moving the energy along, happily satisfied, versus being in your head, where you might create frustration for yourself, given you're listening to your mind versus your decision-making strategy. You have two different decision-making strategies to align with. One being, again, your emotions and navigating those, and the other learning how to trust your gut. So you want to know what your specific decision-making processes are based on your type. For you advisors, Karen alluded to how spectacular you are, particularly as we move forward in this new era. When you're aligned with your personal interaction style, following your decision-making strategy, waiting to be recognized, success is what you're going to feel. However, given that you don't wait, bitterness is what's going to come up, not being seen, felt, or heard. And you have 5 different decision-making strategies. You are the most diverse in your way of operating. Yours too might be emotional clarity. It might be instinctive knowing. It might be willful determination, and or a way of listening to yourself from the core of who you are, and or from your mental perspective. So you really want to know what that is. Trust I'm enticing you to move forward. The evaluator is our only type with one decision-making strategy. Again, personal interaction style, sampling and reflecting the environment, taking your time so that you experience this surprise and delight. Given you go off in your head to make choices and decisions, you're going to feel impatient. Disappointment's what's going to come up rather than your feeling of delight and surprise. So know, again, decision-making strategy is the key to unlocking your entire design. Anything to add there, Karen and or Melissa?
I was just going to reinforce, it is the key. This is the one thing that if you do this, and as Tuck said, we will go over it again and again and again and again and again till you're probably sick of it. But this is, remember when I was saying this is the thing that will always keep you safe. This is what's going to have you love, trust, and accept yourself. When you know that you can make decisions correctly as yourself, it will bring you exactly where you need to go. That's how powerful this is. So we're talking about reaching your fullest potential. This literally is the key to unlocking your entire design.
Ooh.
Yeah, and one of the things I always point out to my clients is I give them recommendations and guidance and things like that, but ultimately they own the power to make the decision based on what resonates with them, and nobody else can make that decision for you. So I think it's one of the most important points, and building the relationship with how those messages are understood through your body signals is something I really help my clients to understand, they really need to focus on that to move forward in their potential.
Beautiful. Thank you. I love that you said body's signals, Melissa, and that's a great lead into basic way number 4, which are the 9 functions in your design that identify your core strengths, traits, and talents. Knowing that these defined functions in your map will identify your core strengths, your natural strengths, your power, what you can always rely on in yourself to stay grounded, aligned personally and professionally. So when you look at your chart, when you look at your career design, you'll see that your functions are either colored in, we say defined, they're white and open, we call those undefined. You'll see that in Basic Way 5 in a moment. But when your functions are defined, they represent your core power and your strengths, what you can rely on as being consistent and trustworthy for yourself. So here are they, here are they. Specifically, the 9 defined functions. Know that each one of these relates to an aspect of your biology, and it provides information as to how your energy functions consistently, reliably, and trustworthily or not. So we'll start at the bottom. Those of you from the human design world know this is the root. This is drive and stamina. This function supplies adrenalized, pressurized fuel to evolve and to get things going in your life. It fuels the body graph. Up above that, the red square, this is the energy resource. It's the sacral in human design. This is what makes the person a builder. If you see this red square, this person is a builder, and this function is their internal motor that generates a certain amount of energy each day that's going to be available to be fully utilized to build and create in satisfying ways. And it supplies this energy for yourself and others. The survival instinct here over to the left, it's the spleen in design, is your intuitive awareness power. Your instincts are what alert you to what you need to survive, to adapt, to thrive. It is not your mind, it is your body here. Over to the right, we have the emotional intelligence function known as the Solar Plexus in human design. This carries your potent emotional energy. I don't know if y'all can tell, mine's defined in all of my emotional wave today as I am sharing this information. This is where your emotional power lies. And so your responsibility is learning how to patiently harness the benefits of this emotional energy, particularly as you move through the ups and downs of your emotional wave. The teeny little red triangle here, this is your willpower function, better known as the ego and the heart in human design. When defined, you're here to be in control of your own life, how you work, your resources, you have the will to make, and most importantly, keep your promises. This is actually how you build trust, by doing what it is that you say you're going to do. The yellow diamond here, identity and direction, the G center in human design. This brings you a strong sense of yourself and identity regardless of who you are with. It is fixed for you. It's reliable in terms of your direction and your mission in life, and you are a way shower. You naturally point out directions for others. The square here, your communication and action function, this is the throat in design, brings, based on how it's configured, a reliable and consistent yet limited way that you express yourself. So you can speak from your mind, your identity, your intuition and instincts, your will and emotions, based on how you're configured. fun and fascinating way in class to discover that. At the top of the body graph, we have the inspiration function, the conceptualization function known as the head and the ajna in design. This is your mental inspiration. So people with this function defined are fixed in their thinking. They have their thoughts uplift, they inspire, they empower other people, and they actually motivate others with their stimulating questions. You know, you're here to utilize this great mind of yours as an outer authority for other people. When you get to the green triangle, the conceptualizing function, this is your mental awareness. So you're great when defined at processing data, being mentally creative, always processing information, always thinking, and you enjoy this mental stimulation. So knowing this piece, way number 4, your defined functions, is going to support you to express yourself authentically. And as Melissa said, to gain awareness of your body's intelligence and to allow you to function at a higher level of awareness, creativity, and effectiveness in all areas of your life. This was a game changer for me. It was as if somebody took their hand off the cork that had been held underwater, particularly in terms of my emotions, and that I was told I was too emotional to stop being emotional, and discovering that I was designed to be emotional. Permission, game changer for me. Anything about way 4, Karen and or Melissa?
I think you did a great job, Tuck. And really, again, these are understanding how these functions operate, really give you a big picture. Again, what your strengths, what your talents are. What are the things that you can consistently rely on? Beautiful, Tuck.
Yeah. Okay. Basic way 5. I feel like we're making our way down the path. Basic way 5 are your shadows and distractions. Y'all, these are the areas in your design that we call undefined, and that they are white and open, as you'll see in a moment. They actually provide information to you. They serve your life and your career in 2 ways. Number 1, they're going to reveal your challenges and where you're distracted and where you're pulled off track from achieving success. Given these functions are open, they have been open for your lifetime and a lifetime of conditioning from the outside world and the influences. This is a really good thing. This is that happy ending, another happy ending to the story, in that you are being provided with information as to where you're stuck, where you're blocked, where you're distracted from creating that material success that you desire. So when you learn from these experiences and utilize them and turn them into wisdom, what you'll get to do here is to share the wisdom that's gleaned from what began as your shadows and your distractions. So here are the ways in which you can become aware of the conditioning, where you're stuck, where you might be frustrated, where you might feel blocked, pulled off center, or given that you're in your head, like we saw earlier, attempting to make decisions versus your decision-making strategy. If you feel your external world is chaotic, distracted, confusing, if you yourself are angry, bitter, disappointed, frustrated, check in with yourself based on this information and ask yourself, if you have an open inspiration function, am I losing focus? When you're open conceptualization, am I mentally defensive? Open communication and action, am I attempting to get attention and trying to be the star? Open identity function, am I confused about my role and direction? Open will, where am I overcompensating to prove myself? Open emotional intelligence, am I avoiding conflict? Am I touchy, nervous, and defensive about interacting? Open survival, here, where am I holding on and unable to let go of something? For you innovators, evaluators, and advisors, open energy resource, where am I overzealous, overworking, not knowing when enough is enough? And then open drive and stamina, where am I under pressure and in a hurry? Simple map, stop, look, listen, breathe, bring yourself back to your decision-making strategy in terms of asking these questions. So that is way number 5. this is what we have looked at in our 5 ways to reach our fullest potential. As we close here, Karen, before we go into how people can join us, anything for you and or Melissa to say about way 5 or the 5 ways?
Anything for you, Melissa?
I would just say that that was something that I didn't pay attention to for a long time, and it actually really helps when I'm in a situation to find exactly how to get out of it. So, and I didn't really use that tool in the beginning, and I find it, the more that I use it, the less apt I am to get into my not self and experience the frustration.
Beautiful. Yeah, and the shadows, just understanding when you get thrown off track allows you to, in a sense, have that feel for, ooh, I'm off track. Ooh, how do I get back on track? You get back on track by following your decision-making strategy. Again, keeping you safe in these changing times, knowing your decision-making strategy, but also knowing what can distract you, what can throw you off track so that you can be aware of it, and therefore always get back to who you are.
Yeah, bring us back. Thank you. Okie dokie, you all. That is the end of that portion of the presentation. I trust that the 3 of us have in some way inspired you, piqued your interest to join us in our foundation course, for you to see what the outcomes, what are the foundation course outcomes. We have that here. Karen and the Institute have done a spectacular, spectacular job in putting tools together to empower you personally as well as your career. The foundation course is a beautiful place to start. So this is about understanding you, knowing how to utilize the information practically to empower your life, to do that professionally, to know not only what your gifts are, but as Karen has said, how to utilize them. And as Melissa said, how to utilize the shadows and turn those around into your wisdom and to use them in your favor. So understanding yourself, of course, but who doesn't want to understand everybody around them, their husband, their children, and colleagues? You know, it's important to interact well with our colleagues and to have that communication be open and clear. So this is a beautiful, beautiful way to understand the dynamics that make us different in relationships, to understand how we're designed to interact with another person so that we can create meaningful relationships that allow us to prosper, not only personally, but professionally. And again, as you've heard us say a couple of times today, to learn the nuances of the BG5 language, so that people are able to hear this great system, the information of this great BG5 system in a different way. And you then can help us spread the word around the world. And then finally, if you are interested in moving forward with any of the professional studies, the foundation course is a prerequisite for the BG5 certification, the profit potential. And Karen, I'm not clear exactly what this relates to in the human design world. Will you speak to that for a second?
Mm-hmm.
What the
So
equivalent is?
the foundation courses, there are several of you that put in the chat as well that the foundation courses in human design are Living Your Design, Rave ABCs, and Rave Cartography. So the BG5 foundation courses are a combination, if you will, of those 3 courses. So if you have taken those 3 courses in human design, you also then qualify what we call the audit price. Basically, you have gone through the information in the human design side. It is a little bit different in the BG5 Foundation because, as you can see, as Tuck has gone through this presentation, we do have a slightly different language. And so you'll be learning the language and learning, in a sense, a different view or a different perspective that we look at the information from. So.
Thank you. Thank you. And so as an overview, so you can see what's in semester 1, personal operating style foundation course that starts May 5th. For you to know, the first class is free. Here's what we go over: the career types in depth, 1 class for each career type, the personal interaction style in terms of what we touched on today. We'll look at all of the different decision-making strategies, you all. We'll also learn something called the key indicator, which is going to let you know immediately whether you're on or off track. Assimilation process is a really, really key piece of information to know how you are processing, I'm going to say, and digesting and assimilating information, and how the people around you are doing that as well, so that there is a sense of acceptance and respect, because we don't all assimilate the same way. We'll look at the core strengths again of your defined functions. We'll spend 3 classes on shadows and distractions. And then excitedly so, most systems look at how you behave consciously. Here, our methodology gives you access to what's happening unconsciously with you. So we'll look at your conscious and unconscious aspects of your design. $675 is the registration price. The early bird is $625. I know it says April 21st here. That's today. Therefore, the early bird is being extended for a week. That's correct, right, Karen?
Yes, that is correct. And I still need to change that, but it will be as soon as we finish this up.
Okay. Here is course 2. If you take course 1, by cracking, you want to move on and continue in Creative Operating Style Foundation course 2. This really begins to open up your experience of your own design, in that you're looking at the 3 general energy thematics. Are you someone who empowers? Is your life about sharing? Is it about support? I've heard from every member of the class that is huge in opening up their understanding of their design. We look at the 36 potential strengths and contributions, so you can then apply that to your design. We look at the 64 traits of the human potential, what those look like, how they show up, so that you can look at your own individual traits and have that information. And then we look at what are the 6 qualities that accompany each of those 64 traits, so that you begin to get that deeper nuance of your talents in terms of how that trait operates. And then one of the most exciting things we do, we look at the 12 public roles, which identifies how are you designed to live your life purpose, your public role. Price is the same here, y'all, $675, early bird $625. That's that information in the slide for you. Karen and her peeps, the BG5 Institute, have put together a beautiful package for you. I'll show you what the package includes. The price is $14.99. There is a 5-month payment plan of $339. Again, y'all, the first class is free, so please come join us. Here's what the package includes. It is the first and the second semester at $625 versus $675. You get your Success Code Complete report for free. That's going to go through all 16 of those codes that you saw on the previous slide, specific to you, with a description. You also get the self-study approach to emotional intelligence, facilitated and hosted by none other than Karen Sherwood, normally $175. That's for free. And then you get your own one-on-one career design overview for $249 versus $395, all for the $14.99. Early bird being extended again. You have the offer of the 5 payments. I so invite you to join Melissa and me. And if you have any questions, Karen, if there are any questions in the box that we can answer, anything that you'd like to add before we say goodbye, so that you can hit the road and do your webinar.
Yeah, well, I did want to open it up and just see if there are any questions. What are the dates for semester 1 and semester 2? Michelle is asking.
Okay, we start May the 5th, and it runs for 10 classes after that. So I have to look at my phone to tell. I think it's July. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 through July 14th. It's 10 classes. They begin May 5th, and we don't take a break. We're going straight through. Does that help?
And then your second semester starts in September, right?
September the 8th. Yes.
September the 8th. Yep. And are these live? And the times on Wednesday. So yes, they are live, and it is the same time that this webinar started, so that they are 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yes. And to say this too, because I've had this question, Karen, we are live, we are interactive. Yes, I'm providing information. Melissa's going to contribute information, but our classes are interactive. There's a forum for people to participate in, to do the homework in, to interact with their classmates, to bring feedback, to ask questions. All of that's available in the class.
And if for some reason, because we do have we do have people from all around the world, and sometimes the timing doesn't work, whether it be because of work or because it's in the middle of the night, we do allow you to also watch the recordings if you cannot attend live. However, we do encourage you to participate in the forum and be really active in the class, because the more active you are, the more you're going to be able to take in and integrate the information. Now, we're going to be delivering a lot of information, but it is more than just the information. The information, in a sense, is the surface, but this is not about the mind and understanding things in the mind.
Touché.
This is about integrating this information in your life. To really transform the way you see things, the way that you work, the way that you approach life. And again, as I said at the very beginning, keeping you safe in these times of transition, giving you peace of mind with all of the craziness in the world. And so again, it's not just about the information. It is about integrating the information in your life. So the more you participate, the more you're going to be able to integrate the information at a cellular level that really can transform the way that you see the world, the way that you take in the information, and the way that you work and the way that you interact with others. And Julie was asking, may I confirm where I start if I have LYD and R from human design, but not yet rave cartography? So if you have the ABCs in living your design, you still need to start with Foundation 1. However, you can get the audit price. So the audit price is $420. You can. There's also an audit package as well. If you are interested in the audit, so if you've done ABC and LYD, you can get that special price for semester 1. If you've done also rave cartography, then you can get the audit price for both classes. If that is the case, write an email to office at BG5BusinessInstitute.com. Natalie will answer your questions, and she will also give you a special link so that you can sign up with that audit price. Nice.
Yeah, Karen, are we going to post this PDF anywhere? Not, I did include some testimonies back here.
Yep. And I'm also looking at seeing if I can also do this transcripts as well. I've had a couple people who English is not their first language. So we're also taking a look at putting together a transcript of this as well and making that available. What we will do is it'll probably be in the next 24 hours. I will put together the videos. We'll get those posted. We'll also send you a link to where you can get the PDF of this, where you can watch the full video of this, and where you can also get the transcript as well. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And what's the link to register? You can see that, let's see, I think you had it on one of your slides. You have the bit.ly link. You can also go to the BG5 Business Institute website. And if you go to education, on the main menu, you can find the foundation course and go to the foundation course, and you'll be able to register there.
Yes, we would love to have you.
Beautiful. All right. And how about finish semester 1? I'm not quite sure. I think it's Brel. I'm not quite sure, or maybe it's Zhang. I'm not quite sure how to what the question is. Yeah, beautiful. All right. Well, what we are going to do is we're going to just take a quick 5-minute break if you guys want to hang on. And then I am going to go into to mine. We were going to start at 12:30. We're going to we'll actually start at 12:40. That's 12:40 my time. So wherever time you are. So in 5 minutes, we'll get started in about 5 minutes. And so take a quick break. If you have any additional questions, when we come back, we will answer questions, and then I'll dive into to my portion of the presentation as well.
Perfect. Karen, thank you so much. Melissa, thank you so much. And for those of you who listened in, you've said it a couple times, Karen, it's an honor. It really is an honor and a privilege to have this system in my life and to be able to share it with people around the world. I get giddy with excitement about the opportunity to do that. So thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Tuck. Thank you again, Melissa, for contributing and your words of wisdom as well. And thank you, Tuck. Amazing presentation. And I hope, again, really to inspire you with what is possible in really understanding this information. And even if, even if this is not correct for you yet, just kind of gleaming some wisdom in how the times are changing and, what is, what some of the aspects are. So you're a little bit more educated in what BG5 and human design is all about.
Perfect.
Thanks, everyone.